And if I must go and fly away, then kiss my baby girl goodnight. Welcome to another episode of Sellouts, the podcast for MGK fans by MGK fans. I'm your host, Mike Kyle, presented by Pink Fox. And today, I'm going to say it, we have the collab that you didn't know that you needed on this podcast today. I am joined by Orsi, also known as Urban Angel Jewelry Company, London. She's been blowing up like crazy over the course of the past month or two. Orsi, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm stoked for this. So it seemed like so you actually followed me, I think, when you first started the account. And if I'm not mistaken, it was more like kind of like recent, and it was just kind of after we had our moment here at PF where we kind of just popped over the summer with our Block C hats. You followed me, and then you just recently went on this tear where your page exploded. So I figured it would only be right for us who we're kind of in similar situations to just kind of talk to each other.
Yeah. So it's just happened not out of nowhere, but it happened from the sorry, but I'm just very nervous.
You're
happened
fine.
from a place where you find something that you really like online, and then you just can't find it anywhere else, and it's really bugging you. So you kind of put yourself out there and just you got to do it yourself if you want it. So that's exactly what happened to me with that very, very iconic pearl necklace he was wearing in 2020 at the VMAs, and then later on in November at the AMAs as well. I think we all know which outfits we are talking about. First one was that pink suit with the necklace. And then in November, when they both showed up, he was wearing this really cool white top. And then Megan was wearing that, I think she was wearing a green dress. And that was just so iconic. And that's when I realized, oh my God, I need that necklace. So to me, it all started off with that piece of necklace, and it's just spiraled.
So we actually have like very similar stories, because the way that Pink Fox kind of like was started was, one, I wanted to make stuff that like he was wearing. I love his outfits. We all seen them, just the concert pics that go around. I'm like, I want to make that. And then specifically with the Block C hat, I waited for months. I'm like, he's going to release them. He never did. And then we just said, we'll make them ourselves. And it sounds like that's the same story that you have over at Urban Angel.
Yes, exactly, because I saw that necklace and I think I've seen it because I went on a rampage. I went on all the pages and I thought I was going to find it. And because I really wanted it, I wanted to support someone else in buying it for myself. And I think I've seen it on Hot Topics website at some point, but it was sold out for the longest time. And I don't think they will ever restock. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to make it myself. But it wasn't that easy as you would think.
Right, absolutely.
Because it needs a very specific size of that horseshoe clasp. And it was not easy for me to find. So at the beginning, it was like it was like a gold padlock. So it was a very similar style, but with a gold padlock. And I remember wearing that for so long. It didn't even look anything like the original one, but I thought, you know what, reminds me of that. And it made me so confident when I was wearing it. I thought, when I walked into a room, I thought, I'm the coolest person. so this just made me, that's the feeling I wanted to capture when I was making my pieces, because to me, jewelry is not just a piece of jewelry. To me, it's much more than that. So when I'm making jewelry, I want to create a feeling of confidence and kind of a sense of belonging to the people I'm making that for, not just to myself, but I just want other people to feel the same way that feeling when I was feeling when I walked into that room. So that feeling will travel through all over the world, whoever I send my little pink packages out there.
Yeah.
So
That
that's my whole goal with.
That's so it's so cool like being able to like actually talk to you like this because we like it just feels so similar, right? I like that you're very accessory focused and like jewelry focused because like that is something where it could be as simple as a necklace that you wear or a bracelet that you wear and it's like that is like that confidence piece that's very subtle but to you it's so personal and you can just kind of carry it on throughout your day. So I love that. For people that don't know, let's just kind of back it up a little bit. Who is Orsi? What is it? Urban Angel Jewelry Company? And just do your nice 30-second pitch.
All right, so I'm from Hungary. Well, I'm from very next to the Hungarian border, from a very small city. So I moved to London in 2012. I have two bunnies, and I have this small business that I recently made it full time for myself. More on that later because I think I want to get into how I actually got here because this did not happen last year.
Cool.
This whole
Yeah.
journey, it started off a long time ago. So yeah, what else to say? I think that's it. I am a self-taught jewelry designer. So when I first started making jewelry, it's for the same reason. It's because I couldn't find what I wanted, and I wanted to make something unique and different that represents my style and makes me feel unique and special. And that's because when you come from a small city, I don't know if you have that experience, but you cannot find anything or anything that is special, or not even Amazon doesn't even deliver to those cities. So I had to become really creative to represent my own style because for the longest time I was trying to fit in, but I realized after a long time that it's not me and it didn't make me happy. So I just wanted to be myself and just do everything I can to make that work and show it to the world.
Yeah,
I guess
that's so cool. So going into you starting to make your own jewelry or accessories or whatever it was. When did you start doing it, and then how long has it been since? Is it like you just started and you never stopped, or what's kind of the backstory there?
So, as I mentioned before, I come from a very small city, and back then my parents were not too wealthy. So I wasn't wearing the most amazing clothes or the most high end or branded or anything like that. Just very simple clothes. And obviously, in between kids, they will start picking on you for these very unreasonable reasons. So that really stayed with me. Obviously, as I was getting older, my parents changed their jobs, and we got some more money. So me and my mom went on shopping sprees, and I actually eventually became more popular as I got older, and I was part of this group that was the popular guys and girls, but I never felt like I belonged there. So, and also I was a little bit overweight at the time, so I was not confident wearing even the better clothes that my mom was buying me. So the only thing that made me more confident about myself was accessories. But at the time I was a student. I didn't get too much pocket money. So I remember I saw this shop, and I think it was one of the very few jewelry shops in my city, and they had various jewelry there. And I found one little necklace there, and I wanted it for the longest time, and I didn't have the money for it. So I remember selling grapes for my parents, and saving all that money I had to go to that shop and buy my very first necklace. And that was so special to me. I remember I was wearing it for the longest time, and even when it wasn't the best quality, but even after it tarnished on me, I just kept it there as a reminder how much I loved accessories and jewelry, and I want more.
Yeah.
I wanted more. So as I got older, I remember I got into this relationship. Well, it was a very long relationship, but it was a very toxic one. And to that point where he was actually telling me what to wear or what not to wear. So no cleavage or anything like that, apart from the jewelry I was wearing. So that's when I started kind of collecting all these jewelry pieces from everywhere. And I found this little shop where they were selling beads and these little pliers and silver wire and everything. And I remember buying all that from all the money I saved from the little summer jobs I was working in between studies. And I remember collecting all that money and buying that and starting learning how to make jewelry on YouTube.
What year was that?
So that was 2007, 2008.
Okay.
So I was a very beginner at very beginning stages at that point. But I remember just because it wasn't a really healthy environment I was living at the moment, that was my safe place when I went and I was working on my little pieces. And I remember that's when I realized what I can do and the skills I may have locked inside me when I was watching Vampire Diaries. And I don't know if you know how they have these gothic Victorian necklaces.
Yep.
These really like very complex, really cool looking ones. And obviously there is no way I could get them from my town. So I decided to make them. And I made so many of them. And during that time, I kind of perfected my skills, and I actually became really good with jewelry making. I even started playing around with polymer clay. So I made so many that I actually started selling them on a Facebook group back home, and it became pretty successful considering it was a small city. But then, so at this point, I was making jewelry for quite a long time on and off. But in 2012, well, actually, I missed out that part when in 2010, I actually managed to leave my city for the first time and I bought my first plane ticket to the USA.
Oh.
I actually been living in Ocean City, Maryland for 2 years. And that's when I discovered Michael's. And that was it. I said, you know what? Anything's possible from Michael's. So I remember after coming home, that was 2012. So I decided to come to London because after seeing the other side of the world, I didn't see any future for myself back home. So moved to London 2012 with one backpack and one suitcase. And I said, I'm going to create a career for myself, but it wasn't going to be jewelry because I had to be reasonable and I had to think of something that was more a safe choice. So I became a professional barista for 3 years. And I actually learned how to make pretty decent coffee. Well, to this day, I can still make one, and it makes me really upset when a coffee is not good enough. And then obviously after 3 years, I realized, well, I didn't realize, I came to London because I wanted to pursue a career in an office, because back home, you really made it when you work in an office environment. That's the whole idea of being successful back home. So that was the whole reason why I went there, but I had to start from the bottom. So I was doing that for 3 years, being a barista, and then I did an internship for a modeling agency for half a year. And then I actually managed to get into an office in 2016. So I landed my first receptionist job in an office. And that's when I thought, I hit the jackpot. I have the best job in the world. I was earning probably half times more than I did before. So it wasn't minimum wage. And I thought I made it. My parents were so proud of me. And I did that for 5 years. But during those times, I didn't feel happy at all or fulfilled. I said, okay, I did what I came here for, and I'm still not happy. It was corporate environment is just as toxic as a bad relationship. So I was actually holding on for a long time. I was working in this building where there was a management change, and my boss was pretty nasty to me. He was pretty much bullying me indirectly. So he was basically pushing me out from my position. I don't know, maybe I think he had something against me. I don't know. I still don't know to this day. But my job became so stressful that I actually decided to join a fight club because I just didn't know what else to do anymore. So that's when everything changed, because I joined this 8-week fight camp, and I went through that. I did my fight. I won my fight. And then I fell in love with my boxing coach. And ever since then, we've been together. So he's actually changed my life.
Hang on. You actually fell in love with your boxing coach?
I actually fell in love with a boxing coach. And he's been the most supporting person in my life ever since. So everything's changed. I quit my job. Well, I didn't quit the job. I was still staying within the corporate environment, but I changed buildings. It was a better building because I got rid of that awful man in that building. But I was still. That was just before the pandemic, which we didn't know about. So I thought, oh, I have it safe. I have a paying job. I'm doing all well, but I was still feeling really unhappy. I just couldn't feel that emptiness in me, and I didn't know. I knew what I had to do. I knew I had to quit that job, but I was just so scared.
Yeah.
And then pandemic came. We moved in together, so now it's all serious with him. He's the one changed my life, all that, but. And I've been mentioning to him actually that what I did before about my jewelry and that I really want to go back, because that was the last thing that made me happy. And it was my safe place. And I know that in London, I can make it even better, because it's so many more people, and the people here are more open-minded about different styles. And because back home nobody would wear these because they're just so close-minded. So, and then there was this incident at work. It was 2021. One of my colleagues came to work and she collapsed in front of the building, and after the paramedics, they were trying to revive her. And they were trying for hours and hours and hours, and she didn't make it, unfortunately. So that, even to this day, even just thinking about it, it was so shocking to me that it made me just think of, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I doing a job that I really hate? So the next day I gave in my resignation. I said, I'm not going to do anything ever again that doesn't make me happy. So that's when I started. Well, at that point, I had this little online cosmetic shop, but it wasn't something that really, I wasn't, and I wasn't passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I was talking about making jewelry again, and I was still scared to go ahead with it. I don't know. Something was blocking me,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know. I couldn't figure out what was it. And then I remember I saw that necklace was already in my mind, right? But it wasn't in, I didn't plan on making this out of it
Yeah.
because it just started off in obsession. I said, I just really want this necklace, and I couldn't stop until I made it. And then I remember I made more than one, and I just put one up on one of these similar sites to Depop. It's called Vinted, and I sold it in less than an hour, and I said, "Oh my God, what's happening here?" So I realized that people actually want to see more of this, and after having some pictures up, people started asking about it. Do you have more of this? What is this? So after that, I started. I actually made a Pinterest board of all his jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. I have thousands of pictures, probably hundreds of pictures on Pinterest of collection of his necklaces, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you name it, everything. And I couldn't stop anymore. It was an obsession. I found this butterfly necklace that he was wearing for the promo for Life in
Mm-hmm.
Pink. I don't know if you remember that. That necklace was so cute. I said I really want that. So that took me less time to make
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like I've done enough research to kind of have the feel of what to do, what millimeter pearl that it needs, and it was so much easier to make. And from there on, it was just a snowball effect because I saw another one. I saw the one that he was wearing for the Taurus premiere in San Diego, and I said, oh, "That's gotta be so easy to make. I love that. I want it. I made it." So, and then I guess these pieces I made them because at this point I had so many questions about what I did that I kind of wanted to prove myself to people that I can do this and I can make a really good quality jewelry. So that's why I was making these, not only because I wanted them, but because I wanted to prove that I can do this. Look at this side by side. I can make almost the exact
Mm-hmm.
thing. So, and after that, I could really dive into my creativity and come out with, for example, the 27 necklaces, or I don't even know. I made other
What
ones
are you
as
wearing?
well.
What are you
But
wearing right now? Why don't you show those off?
so this one is the SD.
There we go.
Sorry,
You're good.
the ESD XX. So this one is just a staple,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it so much. You can wear it with anything. And then I have the little MGK one as well here.
With the pink beads, yeah. There we go. We will
Yeah,
show those off.
I love pink.
Mm-hmm. Where
Yeah.
where did it your love for MGK come from? What I'm trying to understand the timeline here. Were you a fan of MGK before? Did you listen to Tickets to My Downfall and you're like, oh, I really like this guy, I'm gonna learn more about him and kind of go through that? Or what's the story there?
Okay, so it all started with Bloody Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
That song, oh my God, it came up and I saw, first of all, obviously you notice Megan Fox because I was thinking, what is she doing there? Wow, that's really cool
Mm-hmm.
how she's playing the pink guitar. And I was like, oh, this guy is so cool. What is this?
Mm-hmm.
So, because, it's never too late to join this family because all it takes is one song. So to me, it was Bloody Valentine. And I remember listening to that song for days, if not weeks, until I discovered my ex's best friend. And then it went crazy. So Tickets to Me was the first album that I discovered. And then I listened to. I remember putting up on Spotify the shuffle, and I just went through all the albums, and it went through it, and then I remember listening to album by album, and I just going on and on and on and on, and then on repeat, and I haven't stopped since. I seriously, when I think in 2018, I even canceled my Spotify subscription because I was so bored of music. I was like, there's nothing out there. I just didn't know what else to listen to. I remember listening to Post Traumatic by Mike Shinoda, because I was going through this really dark period of time, and I wish I discovered MGK sooner, honestly, because that would have helped me so much back then. But it was only in 2020 when I started dipping my toes in, and then it was a deep dive after. There is no way, no going back after you discover. It's crazy how good he is, and he's so inspiring. He's not just a musician; he's so much more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so yeah,
that's one of the things that I say a lot, like very specifically, is I got really bored of music. Like, I mean, I've loved Kells for a decade, and even it got to a point where everything I listened to, I was like, it's all like stale. Because especially over here in the States, you know, when I was growing up within high school and college, like rap was like the thing, like Drake, right? The Baby, Lil Baby, you know, 21 Savage or J. Cole or Kendrick. And it's like, it all sounds the same. And then MGK, Kells drops Tickets, and it's just it's totally different than everything else really that I was listening to. And I'm like, I love this so much more. So Tickets to me really is the album that made music fun again. And I've been loving life ever since.
I agree. 100%.
So
more of a yes.
No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that I'm more of because you mentioned rap, and I do love his rap albums. I love them, but I'm more of a melodic girl, I guess you can say that. So I love Play This When I'm Gone, or Lonely, or these little more sad songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, or 27 and Kiss the Sky. So I have these 4 songs that are just really up there for me.
Well, let me erase that question for your favorite MGK song that I was going to ask you later on in this episode. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. So just to make sure that I have the timeline here correct, right? So you grew up and you went through a phase where you were making your own jewelry and stuff because it was your way to express yourself. Then we go into you're trying to transition out of jobs and thinking, all right, like I want to get back to making jewelry. Pandemic hits, MGK drops Tickets to My Downfall, you fall in love, you go down the MGK rabbit hole. Okay, there are all these jewelry pieces that I want, I can't find them anywhere, I'm going to make them myself. And then we go into Urban Angel. Is that right, the timeline?
Yeah, that's right. I had actually the company set up in 2019, end of 2019. But like I said, I was so scared of dropping everything and just start. And not only that, but I didn't have the proper inspiration. I felt like, okay, I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to have chains, and I knew I wanted to have pearls. And I wanted to mix these 2 worlds together, because to me, urban is chaos and is searching and adapting and thriving in chaos. And that's the survivor to me, is something, you know, other people, the struggle. And Angel is the sensitive, the innocent. That's where the pearls come in, and someone who is confident and knows who they are and where they're going. So I wanted to create a balance in between these 2 worlds, because nobody's ever put together 100%, and I just wanted to represent that in my pieces. And I knew that I wanted this from the beginning, even before MGK. I knew that. And I made quite a few pieces of some that reflects this, what I kind of wrote down, and not wrote down, it was in my mind and in my head. And I love every one of them, but they don't come from my soul. Whenever I make something that is inspired by MGK, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be the pearl necklace, even though I love that to death. Everything that I make, for example, the 27 necklaces, I want something that when I put on, I know what that represents. And I know if someone comes to me, they will know what that means without I have to explain anything. So this creates not only something for yourself, a peace of mind. When you look in the mirror, you know that you are here to leave something behind, or what you're working on next, or whatever you're working on in your mind at the moment. But that other person will also know what that means. And I just want to create this community where we share the same thing and we have the same love for the same thing and same person. And to me, a piece of jewelry, this piece of jewelry it's a symbol of this, because you can put this on every single day. You are being reminded that you're part of something bigger. And that's exactly what I want to communicate to people, and what I want people to feel. I don't want anyone to feel alone, because there was lots of times when, as he says as well in his song Lonely, even when the room is full, he still feels lonely. I felt that so many times, and I wish I heard this song sooner, so I know that I'm not alone. So this is exactly what I want people to bring together, and just have the same love for the same person, or same idea.
And I can tell you this, just kind of watching from afar, in the way that you engage and inspire with your pieces, like you're doing a really good job. Like people love your stuff, right? And you're kicking butt in that regard. So on that note, though, what's it like when people I know, right? We both know the feeling, like when an order comes in, it's like, ooh, yay. But then there's this additional feeling after they get their item, whether it's a sweatshirt from us or a hat, or for you, necklaces, the 27, I know you're doing Bloody Valentine stuff right now, the pearls. What's that feeling like when you get tagged in those posts? Because to me, that's the better feeling.
Yeah, that's so much better than getting an order in, because, well, when I get an order in, I know, oh my God, this person's going to be so happy when they receive their little pink boxes. Because what I do is I want to deliver an experience. I don't want to just send out something in a bubble wrap. I want to send them a handwritten note. I just want to send them a piece of my soul, because everything I make is all made by me. Everything's read by me. The note is written by me. Everything's made by me. So I really hope that the people can really feel what I'm trying to communicate to them. But from what I see online and the reviews and the feedback, people are receiving my message, which is, and I don't mean the message I write down. My message from my soul.
Yeah, and
so I really hope that it's gonna carry on.
Absolutely, and I think that's a pretty beautiful note to kind of wrap up on. We'll get out of here with our last segment. Let's do 5 rapid fire MGK questions. You told me before that you've binged every episode of Sellouts since I said, "Hey, let's do this." So I hope you're ready for this. Let's. Are you ready?
Ready.
All
I'm
right,
ready.
cool. Let's go with pink guitar from Tickets or black guitar from Mainstream Sellout.
Pink guitar.
If you could see MGK perform anywhere in the world, where would you see him perform at?
Cleveland. But I would also like to see him in London because last year I missed it. I was so gutted that I missed it. But yeah, these two for sure.
Let's go pink hair or blonde hair?
Pink all the way.
Let's see. I know the answer to this, so let's do this. Outside of the pearl necklace, what's your favorite piece of jewelry that MGK has worn?
Oh, I have to think about this. See, to me, this is a difficult one. I really like that. I recently made that chain one, that really thick chain. I really like that one.
Cool.
It took me months to come up with the correct size.
Cool. And then last question here. I have a few different ones bouncing around in my head. If you're stranded on an island and you only get 3 MGK songs on your playlist, which 3 are you taking?
Only 3?
Only 3.
Oh, okay. So 27, for obvious reasons. Bloody Valentine, again, obvious reasons. And that third one is difficult because that's a deal breaker. Let's do a rap one for this. Let's do Floor 13.
Awesome. So we got a mix of stuff in that playlist. We got the inspirational stuff from 27. We got the love upbeat vibes from Bloody Valentine, and then we're going hardcore rap with Floor 13. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Orsi. Follow her on Instagram at Urban Angel Jewelry. .co. So you got the dot in your name. I'll link it in the description. Also, go check out her site. I will also link that below in the description. Maybe if she's cool with it, we'll figure out if we can do some sort of Pink Bucks discount code for her. So we'll talk that over afterwards. But thank you, Orsi, so much for coming on. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Oh, it was amazing to be on board.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe down below so you never miss another episode, and we'll see you in the next one.